2021 was full of surprises in gaming. There were quite a few disappointments, but there were also a ton of games that truly surprised us in a good way. Let's talk about some of them. We've got 10. Starting off with number 10, Hell Let Loose released on console this year, and this is a large-scale multiplayer first-person shooter that you may have looked at and went, oh, just another World War II shooter than an indie one, but this one has a pretty unique twist. Not only is it extremely simulation style, it's got a whole kind of strategy RTS layer to it. It is incredibly unique and really damn ambitious when you go beneath the surface, and because of that, you probably are going to end up either loving it or not really being into it, but you gotta respect it because it really relies on communication and planning, with one player acting as a commander with more responsibility and then small individual squads connecting with higher ups, and there's just a lot of communication and resource management and a lot to it, way more than just a regular old FPS. And the console version doesn't quite feel that great with this stuff at times. This style of game is sometimes just more at home on PC, but either way, if you're playing it and you get a good serious group going, it's a hell of a unique experience. Next, over at number 9, Wildermyth. This is a procedurally generated tactical RPG with a focus on characters and decision making. It's been in early access for a few years, but finally saw a full official release last July, and man, this one was not on a lot of people's radar until reviews started dropping. Do not be deceived by how this looks. This is essentially like an old school tabletop RPG fan's wet dream in a lot of ways, thanks to some creative gameplay concepts going on here. It's a concept of endless heroes. Every game, new heroes are generated with their own histories and personalities, and then from there, you grow them and watch them evolve how you want. So after a session, you can take your favorites with you and slowly build up like a dream team of heroes and engage in combat and do some good old dungeon crawling. It really is a great Dungeons and Dragons experience representation, and all you gotta do is just look past its appearance or graphical style. Some people don't quite jive with how it looks, but it is still absolutely worth playing. You'll be surprised, like we were. The gameplay and the systems within it are beloved for a reason now. Next, over at number 8, The Artful Escape. This is an indie story adventure focused around music. It was announced and then it was released, and that was it. Like, for most people, not a lot of hype or anything, but what we got is a really over-the-top and beautifully stylized adventure about a young man named Francis who is a guitar prodigy and goes on this cerebral musical adventure about dead music stars and the character coming into his own and essentially becoming a rock music god. It's again super stylish and really cool to look at. It's part fantasy, it's part sci-fi, but really like whatever it is or whatever it's doing at that specific moment or whatever you want to call it, it's really damn unique. Even though there's some simple, straightforward gameplay, it is so cool to play and just go through and experience the whole thing. This is better left just kind of discovering it for yourself. It's really cool. Next, over at number 7, we have the Ascent. This released on PC and Xbox, and essentially it's a sci-fi, cyberpunk-themed Diablo-style game with an emphasis on cool guns and abilities, and it is a lot of fun to play. We did have a good time with it, but what really surprised us the most is just how insane it looks. It is incredibly graphically impressive. Whether you're playing on console or PC, this thing pushes things to the limit, and you wouldn't always immediately expect that with more of a top-down isometric style game, but look at what's going on here. We've also highlighted this in our best graphics video. The visual designs they have going on here are top tier, not to mention also just some kick-ass music. This game is a definitive cyberpunk experience. If you weren't too into Cyberpunk 2077, the concept, the science fiction concept of cyberpunk lives beyond that game, and it lives perfectly right here. Next, over at number 6, Hot Wheels Unleashed. Oh man, do you want to talk about a game that I did not care about until I had to review it and make a video about it? It turns out it's actually pretty sweet. It's been a long time since I've seen a licensed toy product game and came out the other end completely blown away. Hot Wheels Unleashed is just a lot of fun. It is good old old-fashioned, simple video game. There are tons of cool racetracks and courses that are all kind of themed around you being on a toy track and the environment around you being super large. All the cars celebrate classic style Hot Wheels cars that maybe you played with as a kid. You can also build your own tracks. The track builder is incredibly comprehensive, and if you're like a fan or you have a kid who's a fan of these types of cars and tracks and toys, you really can go absolutely nuts and spend a ton of time making crazy courses and loop-de-loops. And really, at the end of the day, like, Hot Wheels as a brand has pumped out all kinds of generic racers and stuff throughout the years, but this here is the definitive Hot Wheels experience in video game form. I never thought I would say that. I never thought that would even be anything I would care about, but the game is just that much fun. Next, over at number 5, 2021 did have a lot of smaller indie games, and Ender Lilies' Quietus of the Nights is one that seemed to go under a lot of people's radar, but we liked it. It takes place in a kingdom where rainfall transforms every living thing into monsters known as Blighted, and you play as Lily, who's teamed up with knights to unravel the mystery that is this reign of death. It manages to have a very dreary art style that is also just a joy to look at. It also features a soundtrack by Millie, who you may know from working on different anime. And players really enjoy the music and the atmosphere that it creates, along with the look of the game. If you're into Metroidvania and Souls-like games, this is something you're gonna want to check out. With its like really fast combat that's focused on perfectly timing dodges to get out of the way of enemy attacks, it'll definitely keep you on your toes with some challenge, especially with some cool bosses. This game we've talked about on a couple of our top 10s before. It really surprised us, so consider it. Next, over at number 4, Naraka Bladepoint. It's a multiplayer game that actually has up to 60-player PvP, believe it or not. This game controls really well, it's got fast melee combat, there are ranged weapons, and it has a grappling hook that helps you get around quick and traverse upwards to hit your opponents from high above. You choose from a roster of heroes, each with their own playstyles, and then you're able to customize them to your liking. It features 1v1 rules all the way up to, like we said, 60-player PvP battles, so there's a lot of variety here. Technically, you might consider it a battle royale, seeing that this is a last man standing type of thing, but it's definitely one of the more unique takes on the genre, which that's a surprise in and of itself. We were blown away. We thought the whole concept was overdone and played out now. It's oversaturated, but thankfully Naraka Bladepoint's pretty cool. It unfortunately is having some issues seemingly with cheaters using auto-aim hacks, so that's something to be aware of, and we're hoping it gets fixed soon, but still, it's a really cool game. Now, next up at number 3, we have It Takes Two. Now, okay, this may not have been the biggest surprise in some ways. This is Hazelight, the people behind the pretty awesome A Way Out and Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. But what surprised us is just how many different styles of gameplay are crammed in here and how fun they all really actually are. So it's a cooperative adventure. Once again, this is what the studio does. It's a great excuse to get playing a game with a friend or a loved one or something like that. It's not the most intense hardcore thing. It's good for all audiences, but this one in particular really introduces concepts at a mile a minute. At one point it's a platformer, at one point it's a third-person shooter, at one point it's an aerial shooter, at one point it becomes like a snowboarding, skiing, downhill game. There's puzzles, there's humor, a really heartfelt story that is paced really well and moves forward quickly, but gives you enough character building to really get a sense for these people, and it feels kind of like a more adult, like PG-13 rated Pixar movie, but in playable video game form. It's really cool. I know that sounds really reductive, but this game is one of the best of the year, and it surprised us just how well it nails all those concepts, but also by how, like, it's just like one of the better games they've ever made. It's nuts. Down to number 2, Death's Door. It's another one, it's a smaller indie game that just came out of absolutely nowhere and took some corners of the gaming community by storm. It's a top-down-ish game where you play as a crow who is tasked with reaping souls, and it's like an undead dungeon crawler type game with good combat, an incredible art style, and just some cool, fun world building. It's quirky without being annoying. It's incredibly satisfying to play. There's good, pleasing progression with different abilities. It's also like a little like classic Zelda, but darker. Along with that, the combat just feels rewarding and the environments are just dripping with fun attention to certain things, giving some really good exploration. Every website and lots of YouTube channels make lists of their favorite games at the end of the year, you know? Expect this one to pop up on quite a few Game of the Year lists, because it's that good. Now down to number 1, the biggest surprise of the year, at least for us here personally, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now when this game was first revealed, I guess we were all still pretty hot off of the Avengers game, which not a lot of people were a fan of. This seemed like just more of that, but this time with Guardians of the Galaxy, and thankfully it turned out to be anything but. What Guardians of the Galaxy really is just like a classic good old single-player video game adventure with a story, action, big moments, and a lot of heart. It feels like sometimes we don't get these like big budget AAA games that are just regular old single player games anymore, and thankfully Guardians of the Galaxy really kind of baits you in with it just looking like the movies, but it actually dives way deeper into these characters and does really cool creative things and just some good Marvel Universe world building in the classic sense. With the gameplay, you play as Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and you're tasked with kind of like telling everybody what to do. It's a little bit hybrid RPG style. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's still fun, and the real thing here is just the story. It's really funny, there's a lot of great dialogue, not a lot of it is cringy, it's all pretty satisfying. There's a story with real emotions, and it's interesting. There's a lot of cool music, there's licensed tracks, of course, it's a Guardians game, and videos and trailers don't do it justice graphically. Like, if you actually have it running on your monitor or on a TV, it looks way better than YouTube videos suggest. Overall, it's just a well-rounded, really cool game, and we're gonna be thinking about it for quite a while. These are 10 games that really surprised us and other players out there this year. Chances are you had to have had at least one good gaming surprise this year, right? So let us know yours down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and maybe we helped steer you towards a new game, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It really helps us out. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.